But in closing, just don't bring back the reboots. It's not a good idea. It doesn't look good. Just stick with what you know, you know? It's just like making the quarter pounder at McDonald's, making it much bigger, but with us, or putting bacon inside the quarter pounder, or putting jalapenos and ghost pepper inside the meat. You know what I'm saying? That's why Taco Bell's is changing their menu almost every other week. So, it's the revolving menu. Okay. Next, the NBA season is upon us, which brings me to my NBA predictions. Let's start off with that. Oh, before I get to that, tonight is the game one of the ALCS. Houston hosts the Boston Red Sox. I got the Astros in 7. And unfortunately, last night, my Dodgers, they went down to the Milwaukee Brewers. I'll tell you what. If it comes down to the Astros and the Brewers, I got the Astros in 6. So, but it is what it is. All right, the 2018-2019 NBA season is about in about a few days. We're just about a few days away. October 16th is the start. Here are my picks for October, for the month of October. Okay, opening night, you got Philadelphia versus Boston. I got the Celtics by 12. The Golden State Warriors received their championship rings after last season's sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. My Warriors! They won. Sorry, Cleveland. I had to do it. I had to pick them, It is what it is. Hey, if you were a betting man, you would have did the same thing. I got the Warriors by 15 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And on the 17th of October, New Orleans versus Houston, I got the Rockets by 10. Dallas versus Phoenix, I got the Suns by 6. Milwaukee versus Charlotte, I got the Bucks by 5. Brooklyn versus Detroit, Pistons by 10. I got Memphis. I have the Pacers by 12 over the Memphis Grizzlies. I got Miami over Orlando by the Heat by 7. I got the Knicks by 6 over the Atlanta Hawks. The Cleveland Cavaliers play the Toronto Raptors. I have the Cavs by 5. Minnesota plays the San Antonio Spurs. I have the Spurs by 11. No, by 15, excuse me. I have the Utah Jazz by 12 over the Sacramento Kings. I have the Los Angeles Clippers by 10 over the Denver Nuggets. And on the 18th of October, I have the 76ers by 15 over the Chicago Bulls. I have the Lakers by 9 over the Portland Trail Blazers. I have the Washington Wizards by 7 over the Miami Heat. On the 19th, I have the Celtics by 10 over the Toronto Raptors. I have the Warriors by 13 over the Utah Jazz. I have the Hornets by 9 over the Orlando Magic. I have the Knicks by 7 over the Brooklyn Nets. I have the Memphis Grizzlies by 15 over the Atlanta Hawks. The Minnesota Timberwolves by 10 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have the New Orleans Pelicans by 6 over the Sacramento Kings. The Indiana Pacers by 12 over the Milwaukee Bucks. I have the Oklahoma City Thunder by 8 over the Clippers of Los Angeles. October 20th, I have the Raptors by 8 over the Washington Wizards. I have the Houston Rockets over the Los Angeles Clippers, Rockets by 12. I have the Pacers by 15 over the Brooklyn Nets. I have the Boston Celtics by 16 over the New York Knicks. I have the Philadelphia 76ers by 12 over the Orlando Magic. I got the Charlotte Hornets by 11 over the Miami Heat. I got the Detroit Pistons by 7 over the Chicago Bulls. I got the Minnesota Timberwolves by 14 over the Dallas Mavericks. The Phoenix Suns by 10 over the Denver Nuggets. I have the San Antonio Spurs by 8 over the Portland Trail Blazers. I have the Lakers by 10 over the Houston Rockets. On the 21st of October, I have the Cavs by 8 over the Atlanta Hawks. I have Oklahoma City by 11 over Sacramento. I have the Warriors, Golden State, over Denver, Warriors by 15. I have the Rockets by 13 over the Los Angeles Clippers. On the 22nd of October, I have the Boston Celtics by 20 over the Orlando Magic. I have the Toronto Raptors by 9 over the Charlotte Hornets. I have the Milwaukee Bucks by 8 over the New York Knicks. The Indiana Pacers by 6 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Chicago Bulls by 9 over the Dallas Mavericks. The Utah Jazz by 7 over the Memphis Grizzlies. The Portland Trail Blazers by 7 over the Washington Wizards. Golden State by 15 over the Phoenix Suns. San Antonio by 10 over the Los Angeles Lakers. Next, October 23rd, I have the 76ers by 12 over the Detroit. The Pelicans by 6 over the Los Angeles Clippers. Kings by 9 over the Denver Nuggets. On the 24th, I have the Dallas Mavericks by 7 over the Atlanta Hawks. The Cleveland Cavaliers by 13 over the Brooklyn Nets. The Miami Heat by 13 over the New York Knicks. The Minnesota Timberwolves by 8 over Toronto. The Charlotte Hornets by 7 over the Chicago Bulls. The Houston Rockets by 13 over the Utah Jazz. San Antonio Spurs by 10 over Indiana. The 76ers by 14 over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Los Angeles Lakers by 14 over the Phoenix Suns. Sacramento by 11 over the Memphis Grizzlies. Golden State by 15 over the Washington Wizards. On the 25th of October, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers by 12 over the Detroit Pistons. The Portland Trail Blazers by 15 over the Orlando Magic. The Boston Celtics by 10 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Los Angeles Lakers by 12 over the Denver Nuggets. On the 26th, I have the Charlotte Hornets by 10 over the Chicago Bulls. I have the Golden State Warriors by 15 over the Knicks. I have Toronto by 12 over the Dallas Mavericks. I have Houston by 16 over the Clippers of Los Angeles. The Pelicans by 14 over the Brooklyn Nets. Washington Wizards by 10 over the Sacramento Kings. On the 27th of October, I have the Celtics by 8 over Detroit. Utah by 7 over the Pelicans. Chicago by 10 over the Atlanta Hawks. Pacers by 7 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. 76ers by 7 over the Charlotte Hornets. Portland by 12 over the Miami Heat. Memphis by 7 over the Phoenix Suns. Next, Bucks by 6 over the Orlando Magic. Spurs by 9 over the Lakers. On the 28th of October, the Warriors by 20. Jazz by 10. Thunder by 12. And the Wizards by 6. So I'm predicting Brooklyn, Dallas, Phoenix, and the Clippers will all be losers on the 28th. Next, October 29th, you got the Pacers by 6 over the Portland Trail Blazers, 76ers by 10 over the Atlanta Hawks, the Miami Heat by 10 over the Sacramento Kings, the Knicks by 5 over the Brooklyn Nets, the Warriors by 20 over the Chicago Bulls, Raptors by 10 over the Milwaukee Bucks, Minnesota by 10 over the Los Angeles Lakers, the San Antonio Spurs by 15 over the Dallas Mavericks, the Nuggets by 10 over the Hornets, the Pelicans. On the 30th, I have the Miami Heat by 7 over Charlotte, the Cleveland Cavaliers by 8 over the Atlanta Hawks, Sacramento Kings by 6 over Orlando, the Boston Celtics by 10 over Detroit, Philadelphia over Toronto, the Rockets by 15 over the Portland Trail Blazers, the Wizards by 10 over Memphis, and on Halloween, I have Detroit by 10 over the Brooklyn Nets, Indiana Pacers by 12 over the New York Knicks, Denver Nuggets by 6 over the Chicago Bulls, the Minnesota Timberwolves by 7 over the Utah Jazz, the Golden State Warriors by 15 over the Pelicans of New Orleans, the Lakers by 10 over the Dallas Mavericks, and lastly, for the month of October, the Spurs by 13 over the Phoenix Suns. And that's your NBA predictions for the month of October. Up next, we got the National Football League, Week 6. Okay. Well, like I've been saying this for ever since I started picking football games for fun, not for money. Since 1994, I always been saying this, and I see 24 times 6, that's a long, I don't know what week it is, but I say this every week. This will be the week that I get all of them right. And I always fall either a couple games short. So, with that being said, let's get to my picks. You all know that the Eagles won. So, next, I got Tampa Bay over the Atlanta Falcons. I give the Buccaneers a 6 in my confidence points. Next, I have the Steelers over the Cincinnati Bengals. I got the Steelers, but I give the Steelers 7 in my confidence points. I have the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, over the Cleveland Browns, but I give them an 8 in my confidence points. The Seattle Seahawks over the Oakland Raiders, I give the Seahawks a 9 in my confidence points. The Chicago Bears, I give the Bears 10 over the Miami Dolphins. Minnesota over the Arizona Cardinals, I like the Vikings, but I'll give them a 5. Indianapolis, I like the Colts over the Jets, but I give them a 4. Carolina over Washington, but I give this one a 2. Houston, I have Houston over Buffalo. I like the Texans, but I give them 11. I give the Rams